Hi guys, welcome back to Fata Morgana. Now we're on the title screen today because we're going to be beginning the 4th chapter today, and I don't really know anything about this chapter, to be honest. I've not really seen anything, heard anything. I've only seen like maybe the first line of text, and I've obviously heard how unusual the music sounds just at the beginning of the chapter, so it's going to be quite exciting. And it's always really quite nice at the beginning of these chapters because you're always excited just to see the introduction of a setting that is so unknown. You never know what you're going to get each time. The only thing that's going to unite everything together is probably the fact that there's a white-haired girl, and also the fact that it's set in this mansion. God, it's really nice, this. I'm going to turn it up. Right, let's begin anyway. Oh my god, okay. I mean, assumption is this is talking about a human and probably they're, I don't know, okay, this is unusual. They're dismembered and they're probably being poured into a pot of boiling water. Or it could be an animal, I don't know. The choice, what the fuck is a choice bone? The flock. So whatever this is, it is very barbaric. I mean, it's 10.99. What do you fucking expect? Jesus Christ. Yeah, of course it's the white-haired girl. Oh my god, so what the hell is happening? Is she the witch or what? Why is this red? Red truth? Interesting. I didn't actually remember this line last time. I find it unusual that it's all in red. Why are we having this journey of discovery of the past if we don't even need it? This feels really contradictory. This part here, that is odd. Jesus Christ, when it says the flock, I'd assume that there's a crowd that is watching this torture and, well, not really torture, but barbaric ceremony. And it's probably, oh, which bone do you want to be tossed into the pot? Oh, yeah, let's just let the crowd choose. I don't know. So it's kind of as if there's something within the pot. You bring everything out piece by piece. You bring out the scum of whoever has ended up in that pot, so that nothing else. So that, I don't know. Firstly, they are made an example of, but secondly, so that no other person can follow said example. Oh my god! So the white-haired girl's a victim of all of this. God. Yeah, she's considered to be the witch. Interesting. This is probably the origins of that weird passage that we found when Maria was cleaning the basement. God, they're probably a total mob. What? This is so weird. God, somebody sounds like they are very obsessive and obviously to an unhealthy extent to kill this person and to make the worst thing possible happen to them. Why? I mean, obviously she's a witch, but at the same time, what caused this? Oh my god, sounds like an owl. For now. Oh wait, did she lose them at the mansion? Or is the mansion actually something that exists at this time period? Oh god, that's not a good start. Yeah, but my god, this is such a vivid little passage of text here. It's an amazing description, I won't deny, but it's sick. But this is what I find interesting. Yeah, so it's as if all of the beasts of the earth, and that could be a kind of metaphorical way of referring to people, just filling them with these same thoughts, I suppose, just thoughts of killing this person. Filling them with her. It's unusual. Unusual way to put it. Yeah, fair enough. I want to get the exact... Okay, that's interesting. So ebony is kind of, I think here, like a way of referring to blindness. Just extreme darkness. Yeah, so it's dark, she's alone. Jesus Christ. God damn, so whatever's happened to her, it's been very, very stressful, and obviously she's been on the run ever since she was discovered to have been a quote-unquote witch. So I really do wonder what's going to happen if she discovers the mansion. That is, if the mansion exists. That's unusual in the backlog. Oh my god, that's really, really weird. So it's as if all of the things that that have connotations of light and just in general finding a path out finding a path out of this mess, they're censored in the backlog. Well, how weird. Yeah! Yeah, of course Heaven's censored. Love is censored. Yeah, no, totally. Even please is censored. Yes, it seems like somebody who is in a really horrible situation who is giving everything to see tomorrow, really. Oh my god, what's going to happen? What is she going to discover? I really do wonder. Yeah, god, you can tell somebody's desperate, and obviously desperate to live. When she's calling God, she doesn't even have any... She has nothing she can do herself, so she's just praying something she believes in will solve all of her problems, I suppose. Jesus Christ, how long has she been doing this? Yeah, god, so what's happening to her is she's constantly trying to run away, and obviously she's very, very stressed for a consistent period of time. Of course, she's going physically and mentally worse. And yeah, that's interesting, the fact that she can forget her hunger and thirst. She's only going to be able to last for a set amount of time. If I'm going to be honest, I think if she doesn't do anything, I think she should just kill herself, because What do you want? A death that's instant or a death where you're probably dismembered alive or something insane like that? Some sort of awful torture that's going to happen to her. That pot probably refers to what's going to happen to her. Oh. Wow, this is a cool little image. Reminds me of what we saw in the mansion yesterday. Yeah, basically you have struck gold. The really unusual thing about this is the fact that the mansion still exists in a time period like this. You've obviously got the question of just how old is said mansion. Yeah, fair enough, yeah. Yeah, you definitely want to make the most of this building, I think. It must be really quite scary just seeing such a dark sky and obviously having a lack of consciousness and also having probably a really high heartbeat and then just seeing something like this fade into view. It must be very odd. Yeah, it's interesting. He feels as if this is a blessing from God. Yeah, fair enough. I wonder if there's ever going to be somebody who answers. Make the most of it, seriously, just take advantage. And if I'm going to be honest, I think a place like this is so helpful for the sense that you can do anything here. There's so much space. So many places you can hide. Yeah, and I mean, it's so deep from the woods. It's so far from civilization. Why was it built in this location in the first place? Who wanted this to be built? No, so I can't remember with Mel and Nellie's dad. I think what he did, he was a really rich man and he bought the mansion and then I think he renovated it to be more habitable. I think this is the original mansion. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Imagine if the maid's here. Oh, you're completely screwed. If you're lucky, maybe, but I think it's very unlikely. I mean, I'm sorry, but if you're trying to look for somewhere to escape, finds like this, there's not a huge amount of finds which would compare well to something like this. Yeah, get in. I wonder if she knows that this is near the sea. It's not locked, which is surprising. This censoring of the backlog is really, really weird. I just wonder why it happened. I just find this part so interesting. I'm actually going to screenshot this and ask people who have read this visual novel if they notice that. And that red text, it really gives the indication that there is some sort of evil behind the maid, if you ask me. Some sort of reason as to why she is making us she is making us remember our past. God, so here we are. It's the worst feeling. I mean, you just see somewhere completely unknown and you just see nothing but darkness. You've got no idea of what is in that mansion whatsoever, and yet you feel as if you need to do it, because if you don't, there is a risk of getting witch hunted and tortured. What was that? God. Oh God. Jesus Christ, it really, really is dark. Yeah, I see what she's saying. Yeah, my god, it's so weird. So you feel as if something's different and it clearly feels a lot colder as a result of that. Yet you ask and nothing can be heard. But if I'm going to be honest, I feel like in a situation like this, I don't know what's creepier. Somebody being there or your voice just disappearing into darkness. I think that you could argue the case for both if I'm going to be honest. Okay. So it looks like even the method of making the windows in the mansion is changing. Fair enough. Oh, okay, so this is what we see. I just find it really unusual that something like this is able to give light even within the most dark of conditions. Yeah, that is actually a really good question. Why? I'm just so surprised that... Oh my god, somebody's there. Is that the maid? I wonder. But, yeah. Actually seeing someone here. God, this is so fucking weird. What is this? Seriously. But, yeah. Anyway, what I was going to say that is pretty odd about all of this is, just the fact that we can... I suppose that even though it is really quite dark, we can still see just a little bit of this, and we can make out its image. And I'm just surprised at how much it stands out. There's somebody here. Well, they didn't exactly welcome her, they didn't exactly greet themselves, and obviously they are in complete darkness, because yes, that's the normal thing to do, 100%. Dude, all of the windows are closed. This person is worse than a video gamer. Confirmed. Doesn't surprise me given the nature of where the white-haired girl is. I thought so. The fuck was that glitch? Everything feels very, very odd and a bit wrong. I mean, look at, for example, the backlog. But secondly, what was that glitch? I just want to check, was that some sort of... Was that intended, or was that a glitch in my computer? I don't know. Just some sort of bug that was happening. Because I don't know, I actually want to check. And we're just seeing the white-haired girl there for 10 years. No, that's genuinely intended to happen. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, this guy is really odd. But maybe he's doing all of this so that he can live a life in secrecy like the white-haired girl. I wonder. Is it me or his fingers look like they've been cut off? Or is that just me misinterpreting the image? I don't know. No, actually, that's me misinterpreting the image. Their fingernails. Yeah, I think they might be. It's a really interesting image. But my god, I would never want to mess with somebody like this. Emotionless. He's not even questioning why this person is in the house. He clearly has a lot of importance to said mansion. You still came in uninvited. Yeah, fair enough. The only thing that makes it so that he's a little bit different from said darkness is the fact that he's got a candle lit up and burning. I would not want to mess with somebody like this. Oh my god, I wonder. Yeah, fair enough. Interesting. I just find it really unusual that this thing with a backlog, it really is odd. But yeah, the fact that he thought as if the door had been barred open and yet it hasn't. I mean, I'm sorry, but who demonstrates that level of carelessness? How could you make a mistake like that? I mean, surely you've barred the door and then that's that done? Is he somebody who really doesn't have any touch of reality? I mean, judging by how little sunlight he gets and the fact that he's always locked up in here, then I wouldn't be surprised. No, no way. She does not want to go anywhere. Also, what is Michel barring the door from as well? The fuck? Oh my god, this is odd. What exactly does he mean by transgressed here? Alright, so go beyond the limits of what is acceptable morally, legally, stuff like that. Okay. She has done absolutely nothing. Why do people care about the fact that she is a witch then, I wonder? Once lived in the house, so it's still in the past. That's a bit of a shame. I was kind of expecting that we were going to be able to see the witch in this chapter, but it doesn't look like that's the case. Now, I just find it kind of ironic when Michel was talking about if you are in need of money, get some furniture from the house and then go to a larger town and obviously make business from there. But that's actually something also weird. I feel like this is trying to tell us something. I mean, I'm sorry, but why does every single line in the backlog have censoring and then these lines don't? And ironically, these lines really sound like something the maid said to Yukimasa. If anything, it's nearly exactly the same. That's so weird. Like, genuinely, I wonder what's going on with that. So weird. Yeah, not a very nice thing to say, but okay. It could be reflective of reality, who knows? Ironically, in every single story we've seen so far, it has a very cruel ending. Obviously, an ending that could have been prevented easily. Well, maybe not Nellie's ending, but, well, yes. No, I mean, let's be honest, Nellie is very, very mentally insane, to be honest. There's no... It was inevitable for something to happen, eventually. So why has the cursed witch put on hatred for the mansion? Yeah, you live here knowing that. That is actually a really good point. Why would you do so? Right. That's really interesting, but he deliberately doesn't talk when it comes to the curse. But... yeah... There is something very bad that has happened with him. Has he known the witch? That is the question. And how long has said witch lived? Imagine if this is not true whatsoever and Michel is just trying to say this in order to get her out of the mansion. I'm sorry, but this would be the best cover story to say, get lost. But obviously, given the context, I won't second guess this. Yeah, so even if the future is risking your life and a potential for death, you are still going to take it. But why is this mansion so cursed? And why, even though Michel knows that said mansion is cursed, he still lives in it? It's just unusual. Why? It feels as if he's kind of confined to this mansion. But why? God. Interesting. And naturally, I have the question of what happened to Giselle. Seriously. In that memoir, what happened to her? I'm assuming Giselle was some sort of person who has gone to the mansion before. And there is no indication of the fact that she is here. I mean, she went to the mansion when Michel was alive as well. Yeah, totally reasonable. But at the same time, Michel was saying that staying here is basically a death sentence. So, will he? How do you know? Is this guy a complete psychopath? I mean, we may have had an indication that he doesn't really have much connection with reality, so who knows? How vile. Yeah, very good question. Is it because she's different? No, it's because of what she looks like. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it ironic everything Michel was saying? So the maid's still talking to us. Interesting. What's this music? Ooh. yeah, totally. Oh God, it's horrible. Yeah, those descriptions of her running and seeing no end in sight and just becoming physically and mentally more and more, well not really mentally, but mentally challenged, I suppose, and more physically challenged, obviously. Yeah, I thought so. No way, like calculus. Differentiating the white-haired girl with respect to everybody else in the mansion. Yeah. Yeah, so why not in chronological order? What was her decision for that? Or maybe it's going to be something that we learn when we become more knowledgeable about ourselves. Sorry, I meant to say if. This is where it all began, and yet there was still rumours of a witch residing within the mansion which we have not seen yet. So we are actually going to learn the truth of the witch. Okay, that's good. Good. What happens then? Why? But the fact that she knows it indicates that she could have possibly been a servant here or something ridiculous like that. But isn't it interesting, that theory that you living in the mansion kind of makes it so that the witch's curse is something that is very significant, in the sense that you are, well, constant misfortune could be inevitable. And it's interesting that despite that, the maid has continued to live on. And it kind of gives you the question of, is she really there, or something like that? Just something questioning whether she is really living in the mansion just for that sense. But what's also quite odd is what the witch said. No, wait, hang on a second. Let me just confirm something. That's really unusual. I wonder who wrote this. So they could have the potential to fall in love. I mean, obviously it's going to be tragic given the curse of the mansion, but just how natural is this story? How strong is the element of supernatural? This sounds quite unusual. Oh my god, this is so fucking weird. No, all of the text the maid is saying is changed in the backlog. What the fuck? That's so cool. I've never seen a visual novel that has done this before. Holy shit. This is... oh my god. The beautiful finale to this world. So Morgana is actually the witch. But what Michel was saying was that there was lots of past elements of... well, no, there was a witch who existed here. I wonder if the witch still exists. Upon my blood as well. That's unusual. That's really unusual. Did somebody... I don't know, did something sexual happen with the witch and she was forced to have a child she never wanted to, and then something was cursed afterwards as a result of that or something? Or am I really looking into this too much? by my blood. That does kind of indicate the curse in a way. So Morgana is the one talking to us. Okay. None of the maid's dialogue is censored as well. That's weird. I wonder if it's Morgana and her being present. I just don't really understand why she's able to interfere with the backlog. Maybe it's us somehow. Maybe it's like a representation of our subconscious. Ah yes, because I can view somebody's subconscious memories. That makes sense. Yeah, totally. We are God in this story. If we can view the subconscious and we can see it decoded into language. Yes. So realistic. I really do wonder if the reason for this... So the story begins, and then us remembering ourselves and the truth of the mansion begins, I'd assume. But at the same time, yeah. I wonder if a message has quotation marks, then there's Morgana. But, yeah, anyway. I'm really wondering if, it is chronological in the sense that these stories kind of give a chronological order to how, if we were to remember ourselves, kind of the clues that would be the most important. Like, it's kind of like, I don't know, learning a new skill. You don't just learn the difficult parts first. You learn the foundations and the groundwork, and then you go up and learn more difficult stuff. And I wonder if it's a similar principle here. You kind of learn the basics and then you learn the heavy stuff, basically. Yeah, okay. Who was the certain woman? What about the maid? And also God as well. No, I don't know. Who was the certain woman though? Was it the maid? Why is she so damaged and evil as well? What? Yeah, fair enough. Oh, I missed that. So Morgana is alive. Interesting. And it's interesting that Morgana is being kind. She's bestowing a tale that is fun. Well, not fun, but forgiving and kind. This is so weird. To rewrite the woman you loved. Maybe we're the people consuming the rewritten version. Like Giselle, maybe. Well, we don't know. I mean, sure, we've seen indications of this same story in the future, but I've not got enough information to answer this question. It could actually be, yeah. Let's be honest, it would be too boring if that was false. This mansion looks so cool. I like the green and purple colour scheme. Yeah, she doesn't care whatsoever. She's going to die anyway, so it might as well at least live for longer and preferably die in a less cruel way. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, what happened to her parents? Why is she here alone? I mean, of course, she's in the worst conditions. Of course, she's have to have grown up very fast. Of course they are. When was this mansion built? Can I just mention? He feels like he's really, really regretting what he is doing. But it's interesting, I mean, why does Michel feel as if he wants somebody to do someone to do him favours if he is the one that is ultimately permitting her death to happen in this mansion? I mean, I get that the death was inevitable, but at the same time, maybe he's thinking something like that still. Dude, what is he doing in his room? What the fuck? Does he have lots of porn in there or something? That's hilarious. No, I've got to get this on a quote. Yeah, but I think he would not be saying something like that emotionlessly if it really was the case. He seems very, on a more serious note, he feels very scarred. Somebody who has been a victim of a lot. Yeah, it's kind of in the middle ground. Unusual. So, why is the mansion a prison? Why can't he escape? And she feels indebted, she really does. Yeah, I suppose just letting her roam free, and obviously a real lack of discipline happening as well. So I really do wonder that line about the curse. I wonder who that exception to said curse was. Could that be us? Who are we? Actually, that's a better question. Imagine if we are Morgana. True. True. Very, very true. Which is actually quite surprising considering that, I mean, well, the time period. And the fact that if he did actually want to do anything bad to this person, I'm sorry, but this is... Who the fuck is going to catch you here? So, yeah. Totally. And she must really appreciate, not necessarily this person's kindness, but the fact that he's disinterested, because someone disinterested is way better than somebody who's trying to set you up for torture. Fair. Who wouldn't be? It seems like the way out of everything. What about death, though? And the curse? That's what I'm a bit scared of. A great deal, yeah. God, and I just find it so unusual that Michel barely knows this person, and yet at the same time it's just, oh, I'm just going to let you stay. It's just so weird. I mean, okay, you spend a lot of your time in your chambers, you don't really spend your time in the other parts of the mansion, so obviously what the hell is the point of the other parts of the mansion existing, but also, what is the point of having a mansion if you're not going to spend time in barely any of it? And also, what about food and water as well? I mean, I'm sorry, but Michel spends his time in such dark conditions. This guy's not seen sunlight for 20 years, it feels like. But, yeah. Why? Where does he get those things from? Or, I don't know, is he a ghost and he doesn't need it or something ridiculous like that? Yeah, but the only thing is, the thing that's most important is the fact that the white-haired girl is safe and she is not tortured. She is not at risk of being tortured. He's a very, very shut-off person. Yeah. And I want to know what this has in relevance to the present. True. The library. Interesting. It just kind of gives you the impression of something occult related. Jesus. How old is this mansion and why was it built? I don't think Michel can read these books. Yeah, what is the point of a library with lots of books if you have somebody in the mansion who can't even read them? They were probably for whenever the witch was within the mansion. But the only thing is, I just wonder, the fact that the witch can influence the present and can influence the backlog, you just really question whether she does have association with the supernatural. Oh my god, yeah, I keep forgetting. I mean, obviously seeing a book is normal within our time, but in times like these, you would have to have been seriously upper class in society to see a book. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I can imagine that. No, it doesn't look like it. We couldn't view the book, and yet she is. Maybe this could be a really quite important indication. But can she actually read written English? Or, well, English. I'm assuming these people speak English. Whatever the language they have is. Can it be read? So a tome is a heavy book, large book. Oh god, yeah, totally. They'd stuck together. That's really surprising. Oh my god, that's really weird. Because when we were viewing the memory that happened yesterday, we saw this exact moment, and if anything, we were looking just for a peek. And we experienced this exact moment. It's really unusual. I remember our memory with Yukimasa, and Yukimasa asking us not to leave, and if anything, going that ferocious CG of the beast and that little jump scare. An indication that he desperately didn't want us to leave. Imagine if all of what we looked at yesterday was just a little run through of the perspectives of the white-haired girl. And then obviously, why is that relevant? Imagine, are we the white-haired girl now? Who are we? To be fair, it would actually make sense if we were. No, actually, I don't know why I said that, but I wouldn't be surprised. It would probably be realistic to expect that. God, get a book from the lower shelf. Exactly. Oh my god, I know. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, this person is ultra mature for a child, but you can tell there's just some parts you can really, really see it. I mean, look at this. She's really quite upset. Easily. Oh shit, who is this? Oh my god, is this Michel? Or somebody else? It is Michel. Okay. Oh my god. How did he know she was there? Or was it the noise and he was just coincidentally nearby? True. It is unusual just how little he cares about anything being cleaned. I mean, there is a thing called hygiene after all, but Michel only really spends time in his room. I don't know about any of the other parts of the mansion, but yeah, it just feels like there are a lot of really normal things that people would need to do in order to look after their homes and themselves, and yet he's just not doing them. Yeah, but it's unusual. I mean, with Michel as well, and also we've got the censoring now. Unusual. But it's interesting how little he cares and how much he is indifferent. I mean, look at this. So, you've got loads of really, really valuable books. The white-haired girl knocks them over just because of the fact that she was trying to look at them for her own interest. I mean, I'm sorry, but even if you were a nice person, it would be very realistic to get mad at the white-haired girl for doing something like this. And yet he doesn't even care. It feels as if these books really do have no value to him, and maybe he's one of the people where monetary value is just a concept. Doesn't apply to him whatsoever. Or just sentimental value whatsoever. Or maybe he just genuinely doesn't care about these books, but what is the point of him living in this mansion if there's so little he cares about? This guy is so weird. I actually really like how ambiguous they've made his character. He did. She did, yeah. Yeah, it was a bit stupid. I mean, I'm sorry, but You want to look at how beautiful. You want to look at a beautiful cover, a beautiful. Oh, sorry, a book with a beautiful spine, and yet at the same time, you don't even know how to read. I mean, this just feels so pointless. All of this. Really? It's just interesting that he is offering so much hospitality towards us. He seems quite pained at that fact. Yeah. For how many months, I wonder? Yeah, totally. Nearly 10. Jesus Christ, he really doesn't like these books. He has a very deep hatred to these books, surprisingly. God, so you can just leave these books here. I mean, what is the point of these books, especially considering that, well, especially considering that, they're for decoration, yet he doesn't even come here. They're just sitting there, where they could be sold, they could be given to other people who are actually going to use them. But what's interesting here is that Michel's parents actually send him these books. So that could actually indicate that these parents have a surprising amount of knowledge about his situation and where he lives. I don't know. Does he? What's his surname? Oh my god, are we going to learn the white-haired girl's name? True. No surname, just Michel. So he has a form of dislike towards himself. Oh. Right, that was not what I was expecting. Okay, that's weird. That is weird. So your name is Giselle. Right. So now I want to know, why is it the case that when we looked in the mirror for the memoir... Was it a mirror? No, I think it was a painting. I don't know, just some sort of random ass object. The maid didn't tell us, and yet the walk towards the mansion was done in a totally different manner. And obviously then the maid realised that we had gotten lost and clutched our hand. But why is it different? It's a completely different beginning to said story. So now I want to learn is if the maid is telling us a biased form of the story, a form that is not representative of the truth. Because we've seen a representation that's been gathered by our own mind in that memoir, and a representation here which is completely being conveyed by the maid. And yet they're both different. But they do kind of have the same ideas in the sense that she was sent here, and then obviously Michel's met, and then stuff happens with him, but it's just weird in that sense. Oh god, this is weird. I like it though. Giselle. Like the animal. So Michel is a really quite nice person. I just don't really get why he... Does he have something so... Is he so busy that he can't spare a few moments for a conversation? Fair enough. It's interesting that he doesn't... I mean, he's clearly a kind person, but at the same time it's weird that, I mean, yeah, it's objectively true, but it doesn't really feel as if he has any feelings of happiness, any feelings of inspiration, or just in general positivity from looking at the conversation. He feels very neutral in everything. You gain nothing by speaking to me. No, she's pleased genuinely because she is. Yeah, exactly, yeah. And it's weird how he is very, very understanding and okay with this. Fair. One day. Are we going to see Morgana? Seriously? When are we going to see her? Have we any more red text? Doesn't look like it. Holy shit, that was the most satisfying right click I've ever done. I think it's because the right click and the scroll wheel sound, they just directly merged within and they sounded so cool. Yeah, because she will have died. You don't know what you're dealing with. Interesting. But what's going to kill her? That's the question. It's not as if she's going to go insane and kill herself. Something is going to make death happen. Maybe it's just the sense that this person's going to die, so I don't want to form connections with them just so that there's a lack of pain when the death happens. Maybe a death is inevitable. Yeah, get the feeling. Yeah. He has such a persecution complex. He's just thinking that he is worse than whatever is the lowest. I mean, sure, you might die, but might as well make the most of the time that you are having while alive. I mean, sure, in your eyes, yeah, but not in Giselle's eyes. Yeah, fair enough. Something random, by the way. Oh. Never mind. But I remember beforehand, they were not saying you, they were saying like thy and thee. Even though we were being told the story by the maid. I just think that change in pronouns is really weird. I wonder why it happened. And it happened in the first chapter as well. Not in the second, but in the first, definitely. Yeah, especially considering, well, I mean, she trusts him because she has been abused in this world and obviously a victim of really quite bad, or what we'd consider today to be injustice. Because she's kind? Just something to take out. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. She is not at fault whatsoever. I agree. He's just a brick wall as well. You have to do a lot of... In order for you two to get to know each other, he has to change. Interesting. Not nearly as terrifying as the transition between subsections of the chapters in the third installment of third door, you fucker. Anything Morgana says? No. Interesting. Right, so just before we continue, I kind of want to just look at what this last scene implies for Michel's character. But I just find it really interesting that this person is very, very kind, and yet at the same time he has a... Well, not necessarily kind, but he's a nice person. He's not a bad sort. Or at least that's what I'd hope to think. What has he done that has made him hate himself this much? Or actually, better question, has he done anything? And has he known Morgana as well? The white-haired girl's name. Yeah, but God. He just has this instinctive hatred on himself. You have nothing to gain by speaking to me. Yeah, and it is interesting that Michel's kind of saying this. He's definitely done something questionable. Or something unusual has happened. You don't... He's probably just thinking of himself as the worst of the worst. I.e., we're talking, but do you really understand what the person you were talking to has done? Would you want to know this person had you understood everything that he has done that's problematic? And if I'm going to be honest, I kind of assume that the guilt of the curse is something that's reasonable in providing an explanation for why Michel is not wanting to talk to us. Maybe it's just the sense that if he forms an attachment, then it's all going to be painful when it goes. If you've read Tsubahibi, he has Tomosane syndrome. I just think it's hard to believe that this is something that's the case. But to be fair, some people genuinely don't have interest in interacting with anybody. So maybe he could just be one of these people as well. Or maybe this could be a cover. Maybe it could be him running away from guilt. Or maybe it could be... Oh, I don't know. I don't know what it is. He's just very reluctant and very self-contained. Doesn't want to go out of his shell whatsoever. But it's interesting that what he thinks of himself is totally different to what Giselle actually thinks. He's really just trying his hardest to push himself away from her. Yeah, that's interesting. Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so like the story with I suppose the story with Yukimasa and also the white-haired girl, there's a possibility that these people have really quite similar feelings or just experiences that they can kind of use to make each other feel like they can relate. You'll go insane. You'll go insane without sunlight over a long period of time. Yeah, exactly. I just think it's so weird that the white-haired girls all have similar qualities. The fact that they are really quite used to darkness, and it's as if they have had a lot of experience of darkness beforehand. Yeah. He really doesn't have any ethic socially whatsoever. That's good, so it's clearly having some sort of impact. Wow, so is this... It looks like the cellar. Oh, it is. Are they going to starve? I find it interesting that there's no maid at all here, by the way. No maid, and yet the maid can tell us the story of what happened here. In very, very accurate detail. I've never heard of the term non-perishables before. I'm surprised. It's just a synonymous for preservatives? What? Preserved foods? Yeah. Basically. Non-perishable night. I see. So that probably applies to Michel as well. That's bad. Where does Michel get all of the food from, though, I wonder? I mean, he clearly doesn't go out of the house whatsoever, so why? Of course, yeah. But would she have had the money? Yeah, fair enough. Unfortunately, there's no going to the supermarket in times like these. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I know, and drink as well. I mean, where do you get your sources of drink from? Oh my god. That's gonna end as awfully as it possibly could. What's gonna happen if we actually enter his chamber? That is a good point. By the entrance? That's really unusual. If he was like a character who is drowning in regret, regret is the only thing he experiences. I mustn't deny he has never looked happy in his sprites. Never. Assuming he leaves the mansion? Oh my god, what? How the fuck? What? What? Okay. I love that. Well, I mean, she's not wrong. Yeah, seriously. I think she's just said something that she's really gonna regret. I know. I mean, you just casually tell somebody that you are a little impossible being, and yet, like Michel said, well, like Michel said, she is not frightened. Oh god. So, yeah, that was a lie in its entirety. If I'm going to be honest, I just think it's so ironic that I genuinely didn't bat an eyelid to something like that just because of how weird Michel is. I'm being serious. I actually considered what if that could have been the case. But, yeah, so he is a human being. He needs food. Obviously, he needs to account for 2 now. But, yeah. Why are your supplies bad? Let me guess. It comes from humans. I don't fucking know. But knowing Michel is probably not something normal. So it's Amazon delivery service, just like nearly 1,000 years in the past. Literally Amazon delivery. Middle-aged Amazon delivery. Oh my god, it must be so weird seeing that. Yeah. Reasonable. Becoming a proper vampire. Yep. God. Yeah, can't imagine what it must be like for Michel as well. So he probably has a monthly supply. I just really wonder how he gets the money delivered to that person, or maybe it's some sort of thing, some sort of investment that he has done where he puts the amount that would be required for the year and then this person delivers the yearly service. But I mean, there's got to be something more to that. I don't really get why that would happen. I mean, who would not take advantage of being paid for a year and yet not doing anything about that and probably finding it hard to be traced as well? I don't know. I just wonder how he pays for all of this. It's totally reasonable. It's more kind. weird. I know. Exactly, yeah. It's weird. His family, but why does his family care about him so much? Interesting. So the family sends food for the month and also a book. This family feels really oddly kind, especially for a family that would exist within, well, basically the 12th century. It is the 11th century, but it's, well, a year. Well, it's literally the last year of the 11th century. So weird. Very, very good question as well. Yeah, I completely forgot. Yeah. That is a reasonable question. I mean, I'm sorry, but he hasn't been outside in 10 years. So I think if it's clear that no communication has happened every single delivery. So whoever's doing the delivery must have just given up by the end. I know. Exactly. But yeah, that is a very, very good question. But also, what happened because of the curse? And with regards to his family, you could think that he is there because, I don't know, maybe he has been bullied. I wouldn't be surprised if he was a bullied person, given how rejecting he is when he when the white-haired girl wants to interact with him. But also, just in the sense that they are giving him food to survive here, yet at the same time when they come to the door and a book, and yet they know that he's not going to say a word. They know that they're not going to talk to him. Yeah. It feels quite contradictory. Surely you would send somebody a book. And especially in this case, books are fucking valuable. So why is he being sent something so valuable he's not even going to read? if the family is also one that doesn't like him whatsoever and one that doesn't talk to him, this just doesn't add up. But if he chose to be here, why is the family supporting it so much? I mean, this is not a healthy lifestyle. What happens if you live extensively without vitamin D? Let's do sunlight, make it more generalised. Fuck off, I don't want to search of AI mode. Right. So, effects of not receiving enough sunlight. Weaken immune system. Damn. I'm really surprised about this. Wow. Fuck. That's interesting. Sad. I'm surprised. That's actually quite interesting. So what I'm just trying to say is you have a lifestyle like this, but why would you choose to have it? It's not healthy. Simple as that. And it's not as if, I mean, I could see somebody living a lifestyle like this. Let's say, I don't know, we've got visual novels. There's so many to pick. You can spend so many hours of your life just hooked up in your house playing visual novels. You can just do that for the entirety of your day. Just don't go outside whatsoever and live a life like thingy. And then Michel was. But I mean, here you've got nothing to do. It's just darkness. What do you do with your time that makes something like this worth doing? What goes on in his room? Or maybe he actually talks to somebody in his room. Maybe he talks. Imagine if he talks to the witch. I wonder. Speaking of the witch, have we seen any red text recently? Couldn't be more white even if it tried to be. Yeah, don't fuck the library up while you're there. I mean, he's done this enough times before, so of course he can do it by himself. very direct. And there's just so many opportunities where they could bond, but Michel just doesn't have a connection. You just really wonder why he pushes us away so much. Us. I meant the white-haired girl. But still, you get what I mean. Yeah. Yeah. It really would feel like it. So if he's quote unquote cursed, why would the family support his living? True. True. Oh yeah, that's fair enough. God, what is this? Looks like a graveyard, possibly. The cursed man. I'm gonna go to bed now because I'm tired, which is a bit of a shame because this next part looks really interesting, but I suppose it will give me stuff to look forward to tomorrow, so yeah, that'll be nice. But anyway, that was really quite cool today, seeing the really quite unusual aspects of Michel's character, but also seeing the ambiguous nature of Giselle, and obviously trying to just kind of make sense of the memoir compared to compared to the beginning of the chapter, and just kind of trying to reason what that is as well. and what that difference is caused by. That will be something quite interesting for future reference. But yeah, overall it seems like a really quite nice chapter, and Michel seems like a very weird protagonist, seriously weird, and obviously the white-haired girl seems different, the same themes but different in a certain way, and she feels a lot more similar to the white-haired girl of the 17th century with Yuki Masa. Anyway, that was a really quite nice introduction to the chapter, and judging by, for example, well, just all of the ambient music we've heard, I think there's a lot of potential in this. And I just really hope we're going to learn about the maid and whatever her significance in the story is. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed.